Welcome to Shay It Out Loud, the podcast where real conversations meet heart, humor, and honesty. I'm Shay, your host, bringing stories, insights, and a little laughter as we navigate life, growth, and everything in between. Whether it's mental health, parenting, or finding balance in the chaos, we'll dive in together. So grab your coffee, tea, or whatever keeps you going. Let's Shay It Out Loud. Hey everyone, today we're getting real about something that we all felt one time or another, competition. But I'm flipping the script because we're not here for the drama. We're here to talk about building sisterhood and creating a culture of collaboration. This topic is personal for me because I've seen firsthand how competition can hurt relationships, especially between women. So let's dive in. So let's get real. For many of us, competition isn't something that we just stumbled into. It's something we grew up with. You know what I mean, right? Like, from a very young age, girls are often compared to one another. Who's the prettiest? Who's the smartest? Who's going to make it in life? And sometimes it's our own families who pin us against each other. I remember growing up and hearing things like, why can't you be more like so-and-so? Or seeing the subtle ways family would compare the girls. It creates this tension, and before you know it, you're side-eyeing your own cousin, sister, or friend instead of celebrating her. That kind of dynamic plants seeds of jealousy and mistrust that can last for years. And let's be real, it's not just in families. It shows up in schools, at work, and even in friendships. Society loves to pit women against each other. But I'm here to say this, enough is enough. We can break that cycle. Here's the thing. Those childhood comparisons might have been subtle, but they stuck. Maybe it was the way your aunt always praised your cousin's grades while overlooking your talents, or perhaps it was your grandmother commenting on who gained weight and who didn't. It feels harmless at the moment, but it creates a wedge. And before you know it, instead of being allies, we grew up with this idea that another woman's success is somehow a threat to our own. That's why I'm so passionate about creating spaces where women celebrate each other. Because if we don't start changing the narrative, those old wounds stay open. And let me tell you, healing begins when we recognize that we're not competitors. We're sisters. Now as a mom, this hits even closer to home for me. I've seen what happens when competition gets in the way of connection, and I'm determined to raise my daughter differently. One thing I always tell her is to uplift and include everyone. When I see my daughter interacting with her friends, I remind her to celebrate their wins, no matter how big or small. And if one of her friends get a good grade, hit a milestone, or even try something new, I encourage her to be the loudest cheerleader in the room. Why? Because I know those little moments of support can create bonds that last a lifetime. I take it further by helping her see the value in other people's strengths. I tell her you don't have to be good at everything, and that's okay. Celebrate what you're great at, and celebrate what others are great at too. It's not about comparing. It's about complimenting each other. When we focus on collaboration instead of competition, we create a space for everyone to shine. I also make it a point to teach her that another girl's success doesn't take away from your own. I tell her, your light shines brighter when you help someone else's light shine too. And I don't just say this, I show her. If you truly know me, I'm a girl's girl. If I see someone winning, I make sure to vocalize my pride and admiration. Whether it's a quick text, a public shout out, or even just a heartfelt conversation, I let her see that I'm lifting others up, and it's powerful and fulfilling. And let me tell you, y'all, this hasn't always been easy for me. Growing up in a world where competition was the norm, I had to unlearn a lot of habits. But the more I practiced celebrating others, the more natural it became. I want my daughter to grow up knowing that she doesn't have to dim someone else's light to make her shine. Instead, I want her to see how beautiful it is when we all light up the room together. It's also about teaching inclusion. I encourage her to think about the people who might be left out. Whether it's at school, in her friend group, or even at family gatherings, I ask her, how can you make everyone feel like they belong? Because those small acts of kindness and inclusion are the foundation of real sisterhood. They teach empathy and build trust. At the end of the day, I want her to understand that relationships are about connection and not competition. And when you lift up others, you're also lifting up yourself. And when women come together to support each other, there's nothing we can't achieve. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Society thrives on competition among women because it keeps us distracted. When we're too busy comparing ourselves to each other, we're not focused on building each other up. or challenging the systems that hold us back. It's a strategy to keep us divided, to keep us fighting for scraps rather than coming together and demanding our rightful place in this world. Think about it. Reality TV shows, social media, and even some workplaces, they all push this narrative that there's only room for one woman at the top. They pit us against each other. If someone else wins, we lose. They thrive on our insecurities, feeding us the illusion that our success is limited, that there's only a small window for us to rise. But y'all, that's a lie. It distracts us from the real work that needs to be done. The truth is, there's room for all of us to win. There's space for every woman to shine in her own unique way, to lead, to create, to inspire. When we support each other, we elevate each other. We build networks, communities, and spaces where opportunities are not just for a chosen few, but for everyone. Imagine if we really stopped seeing each other as competition and started seeing each other as collaborators. How much further could we go? How much more could we really accomplish? We have the power to rewrite the narrative, to break down the barriers that separate us and create pathways for us all to succeed. It's not about one woman winning. It's about a collective victory. When we come together, we create opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. Opportunities for mentorship, for collaboration, for shared growth. Let's stop competing with each other and start lifting each other up. Because when women support women, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world around us. And there's nothing more powerful than that. Breaking the cycle starts with awareness. Have you ever caught yourself comparing your journey to someone else's? Maybe you thought, why her and not me? It's easy to get caught up in that trap, especially when we live in a world that constantly pushes us to measure ourselves against others. Maybe you scrolled through social media and seen someone's post and thought, how come she's there and I'm still here? It's okay to admit it. We all been there. I've been there. But recognizing those feelings, sitting with them, and being honest with ourselves about where they come from is the first step to letting them go and reclaiming our peace. Here's the thing. The comparison game only holds us back. It keeps us stuck in this loop of self-doubt, and it robs us of the joy of our own journey. But once we recognize that the only person we should be comparing ourselves to is the person we were yesterday, the game changes. When we focus on our own path and growth, stop looking at everyone else's finish line, and start appreciating the progress we're making, it's not about being better than her. It's about being better than we were yesterday. That's where real empowerment begins. And let's talk about the flip side. Being intentional about supporting other women. It's not enough to just recognize those feelings in ourselves. We have to take action. We have to actively choose to be the change we want to see. One of the most powerful things we can do is to be generous with our time, resources, and encouragement. This doesn't mean that we have to give everything away or put ourselves last. It means that when we see another woman doing her thing, we show up for her. We celebrate her victories, big or small, because we know that her success doesn't diminish ours. It actually magnifies it. If you have knowledge, skills, or connections that could help another woman, don't hold back, share them. One of the most impactful things we can do for each other is be a resource. If you know something that can elevate someone else's journey, pass it along. When we share what we know, we're not just helping other women succeed, we're building a community of women who can rise together. When one of us rises, we all rise. This isn't just a feel-good phrase, it's a truth that's been proven time and time again. Imagine a world where every woman stopped viewing success as a limited resource and starts seeing it as something abundant and something that we all can access. When we support each other, we don't just lift one person, we uplift the entire community. And when we rise as a collective, we become unstoppable. And let's stop waiting for the world to change and start being the change, one act of support at a time. This is where it gets exciting. We have the power to teach the next generations of girls to do better. We can show them that collaboration is far more powerful than competition. Think about it. If we raise our daughters to embrace each other's victories instead of tearing each other down, imagine the kind of world they'll create. A world where women support women and where there's enough room for all of us to thrive. And for us, it starts right now. We can be the role models they need. It's up to us to set the tone, to create a culture where love, support, and encouragement are the norm. And trust me, it's worth it. When we support each other, we grow together. And that's the kind of sisterhood I'm all about. All right, let's wrap this up. Competition has no place in sisterhood. Together we can build something stronger, something better. So the next time you catch yourself comparing, take a step back and ask yourself, how can I support her? Because when we come together, there's nothing we can't do. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you don't have to do this journey alone. We're all in this together, and when we build each other up, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. Until next time, keep spreading love, kindness, and sisterhood. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Shay It Out Loud. I hope today's episode gave you something to think about, smile over, or share with a friend. Don't forget to follow me for more updates and catch a new episode every Tuesday wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, take care, be kind, and don't forget to Shay It Out Loud.